Imagine standing in a small village thousands of years ago. The air smells of firewood and earth. You are holding a basket of grain. Across from you, a hunter grips freshly cut meat. You are both rich and poor at the same time. Because wealth, in that world, had only one rule. It existed only if someone else needed what you had. This was the age of barter, a simple system, but dangerously fragile. You needed something, but the other person didn't want what you had. A farmer with wheat couldn't always find a shoemaker who needed wheat. A fisherman couldn't trade easily with someone who already had fish. This problem had a name, though no one called it that yet. The double coincidence of wants. Trade required coincidence, and coincidence is unreliable. So humans did something extraordinary. They invented a shortcut. They began using objects, not for their usefulness, but for their acceptance. Shells, salt, beads, livestock, items that carried value, not because of what they did, but because everyone agreed they mattered. This was the first transformation. Value became an idea, not physical, not practical, but psychological. In parts of Africa, cattle became a symbol of wealth, not just food, but status. In ancient societies, salt was so valuable that it was used as payment, so valuable that the word salary would eventually come from it. In other regions, rare shells traveled across continents, used not for survival, but for trust. Because that's what money really was, even then. A promise. A silent agreement between strangers. But there was a problem. These early forms of money were heavy. Hard to carry. Difficult to divide. Imagine trying to buy a loaf of bread with a cow. You can't cut a cow into small payments without destroying its value. So humanity evolved again. Around 600 BC, in a kingdom called Lydia, something revolutionary appeared. Small, stamped pieces of metal, coins, standardized, durable, recognized. For the first time, value became portable precision. You didn't need to negotiate every trade anymore. The coin spoke for you. Its weight, its metal, its symbol, all guaranteed by authority. But here's the twist. The coin itself wasn't the real invention. Trust in the issuer was. Because a coin is just metal, unless people believe it's worth something. Kings and empires quickly understood this. Control the money, and you control the people. Empires rose on the back of coins. The Roman Empire paid its soldiers in standardized currency, allowing it to expand across continents. Trade exploded. Markets grew. Cities thrived. For the first time, money wasn't just a tool. It became infrastructure. But power comes with temptation. Rulers began to cheat. They reduced the amount of precious metal in coins, but kept the same value. More coins, less substance. The first hidden inflation. People didn't notice at first, but slowly, prices rose. Trust weakened. Systems cracked. And just like that, the first great lesson of money was written into history. Money works, only as long as people believe in it. But belief can be stretched. And in the next chapter, humanity would push that belief further than ever before.
Coins changed the world, but they were still heavy, still limited, still physical. And as trade expanded across continents, something became clear. Metal couldn't keep up with ambition. Imagine being a merchant traveling thousands of kilometers. Your wealth is in gold, but gold attracts thieves. Every journey is a risk. Every transaction is slow. Every deal, dangerous. So merchants did something radical. They stopped carrying money. Instead, they carried promises. In ancient China, during the Tang and Song dynasties, traders began using pieces of paper as proof of deposit. You give your coins to a trusted agent and receive a note. That note says, "This person owns value." And suddenly, paper became power. This was the birth of paper money, not because paper had value, but because it represented stored trust. The idea spread slowly, then rapidly. Banks began to form. At first, they were simple, places where people stored gold. In return, they received paper receipts. But something unexpected happened. People started trading the receipts instead of the gold. Why carry heavy metal when a piece of paper could do the same job? Banks noticed something interesting. Not everyone came back to withdraw their gold at the same time, so they did something bold. They started issuing more paper than the gold they actually held, more claims than reality. And just like that, money became partially imaginary. This system had a name, fractional reserve banking, and it changed everything. Economies grew faster, trade expanded, opportunities multiplied, but so did risk, because the system now depended entirely on confidence. If everyone asked for their gold at once, the system would collapse, and sometimes it did. Bank runs, panic, people rushing to withdraw their money, only to discover it wasn't all there, because it never was. Governments stepped in, they took control. They began issuing official currency, paper backed by gold. This was known as the gold standard. Every banknote was a promise. You can exchange this for real gold. And for a while, it worked beautifully. Money was stable, trade was global, empires expanded further than ever before. But there was a problem. Gold is limited, human ambition is not. Wars changed everything. Governments needed money, fast, more than gold reserves allowed, so they made a decision, a dangerous one. They broke the promise. In the 20th century, especially after World War I and later World War II, countries printed more money than they had gold to support. At first quietly, then openly. Finally, in 1971, something historic happened. The United States officially ended the gold standard under President Richard Nixon. Money was no longer tied to anything physical, no gold, no silver, nothing. From that moment on, money became what it truly is today, pure belief. A dollar is valuable because people agree it is, not because it represents anything real. And that changes everything, because if money is just belief, then whoever controls belief controls the system. Welcome to the modern financial world, where money is printed digitally, moved instantly, created with a keystroke. But something else is coming, something that challenges this system at its core. And in the final chapter, we enter a world where money might no longer need governments at all.
Close your eyes. Imagine money you cannot touch, cannot see, cannot hold. Now open them, because you're already living in that world. Most money today isn't physical. It exists as numbers on screens, bank balances, digital transfers, invisible flows of value moving across the globe every second. When you send money online, no coins move, no paper changes hands, only data shifts. This is the age of digital money, fast, efficient, borderless, but also fragile. Because digital systems can be controlled, monitored, frozen. Banks can block transactions. Governments can restrict access. Institutions can decide who gets to participate. And that raises a dangerous question. Who really owns your money? For centuries, the answer was simple. If you held gold, it was yours. If you held cash, it was yours. But today, your money is often held by someone else, stored in systems you don't control. Then, in 2008, something broke. The global financial crisis. Banks collapsed. Trust shattered. Systems failed. Out of that chaos, an idea emerged. A mysterious figure or group known as Satoshi Nakamoto introduced something new. A new kind of money, not issued by governments, not controlled by banks. Bitcoin. For the first time in history, money existed without a central authority. No single entity controlled it. No bank could print more. No government could manipulate it easily. It was based on mathematics, on cryptography, on decentralized trust. Instead of trusting institutions, you trust the system itself. And that changes the game completely. But Bitcoin is just the beginning. Today, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies, some promising freedom, others speculation. Meanwhile, governments are fighting back, creating their own digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Money is evolving again, faster than ever, and we are standing at a crossroads. One future leads to total control, where every transaction is tracked, every movement recorded, every decision monitored. Another future leads to decentralization, where individuals control their wealth, where systems are transparent, but also unpredictable. So what is money, really? It started as barter, then became metal, then paper, then digital. But at its core, money has always been the same thing, a story we all agree to believe. And the most powerful people in the world are the ones who shape that story. The question is, in the future, will that power belong to governments or to the people? And more importantly, what will you choose to believe?